Chapter 1. A Very Strange Encounter. Alright, I'll admit it. Chad Brunstick is a jerk. He wades in the pool with his two pals, staring with big, dumb grins. Chad's long, blonde hair is flattened back tight, as though a bottle of cheap gel was poured onto it, and his mother has slicked her fingers through the razor-sharp strands, attempting to feather down his unruly locks. Chad's brown eyes sparkle with energy. His stupid, square chin is dotted with prickles of dark facial hair. He's always trying to show the girls his chin hairs, as if to say, "Look at me, ladies, I'm a real man." I roll my eyes in disgust. "Hey, Finn, what's the matter? Too chicken to swim?" I stand at the side of the pool and cross my arms over my chest. My swim shorts are the same ones Mom bought me when I was in grade 7. The bright blue tropical pattern is an eye-catching, yellowish-red spotted eyesore. "Nobody asked for your opinion, Chad," I tell him. One of his flat-faced friends join in. "What, scared all the ladies are going to see your skinny butt? Or smell your fish breath?" Smirking, he nudges his friend on the shoulder. "Yeah, who wants to date a dude with smelly fish breath?" They laugh like old women giggling over a rom-com. Idiots. I uncross my arms, as though my oversized white t-shirt will act as armor against their sarcasm. Just go away. Don't you guys have anything better to do? Across the other side of the indoor swimming pool, Mr. Elk, the gym teacher, eyes up Chad's posse and begins walking to our side of the pool, mowing a path through kids who are unlucky enough to not get out of the way. I look down at my phone and plug in my earpieces, but Mr. Elk is a persistent man, built like the animal he's named after. He grabs the cord and, none too gently, pulls the earpieces out. "Come on, Bates, get in the pool. It's the last day before Christmas break. Show some effort." Talk about not helping. I look back down at my bullies who have begun to swim away, kicking their feet up to send splashes of cold water in my direction. I close my eyes to shield them from the deluge. Mr. Elk turns to them. "Get out of here and back to the deep end," he shouts, but the misfits are already several feet away. Mr. Elk returns his gaze to me. I'm not sure what he sees, but I prepare for another order to join in. Crap. It doesn't come, but his eyebrows scrunch and I can almost imagine steam rising from his ears. A couple of seconds pass and he just shrugs, and I watch him walk up to the rest of the class near the slide, barking out orders. Chad says something that makes the teacher laugh. I groan in genuine distaste. Here's a $1 million question. Why do people get bullied? What makes a bully? I can answer that question from first-hand experience. See, some individuals think it's a matter of bravery. My father, for example. "Finn, why don't you stand up for yourself? Son, if they land the first hit, you land one right back." It's not that easy. I stand up for myself all the time. For the last 3 years, in fact. But that makes you more of a target, because bullying is a game for them. So what makes a bully? Commonly, unfortunate living situations. They have it rough. They're the ones who are insecure, so they let their self-hatred and anger out on others. I don't care. I hate them. As I said, Chad Brunstick is a jerk. The school bell chimes 15 minutes later. I rush into the boys' changing area before Chad and his pals have a chance to swim back and climb out of the pool to bother me. I grab my gray sweater, pulling up the hood while letting my black backpack slump over my shoulders. My parents, despite my insistent arguments, forced me to go to school today. I have 4 more blocks to slog through after my encounter with Chad's boy band. I'm not in the mood for yet another day of mindless lecturing from my teachers. Besides, my parents also informed me I might not be going back to school after Christmas break. I have enough credits to graduate early. Jade Career College has accepted me into a 12-week astronomy course. With this in mind, I run to my locker on the first floor. The school is like a maze filled with scurrying rats. Before the next bell rings, I manage to clear my locker, shoving the contents into my bag. My notebooks, filled to the brim with scientific formulas and math equations, make up most of the bulk. Despite the weight, I manage to pull the straps neatly onto my back, adjusting the pressure. I go to close my locker, but it magically swings shut with a large bang. Chad has his fist on the metal frame with a goofy smile stretching from ear to ear that he thinks is intimidating. I close my eyes, letting a wave of frustration pass. "You know what's sad, Finn?" I turn to look at him head on. I don't care. He continues anyway. "This is the last day I get to hang out with you." He punches my right arm. I flinch. He smirks, knowing that he must have left a little bruise. "Don't touch me," I warn with a surprising amount of bravery. This catches Chad off guard. He raises his brows. "Tough guy now, huh? Let me guess. You think going off to college will help you become cooler?" Alright, even an amateur can piece this mess together. Dumb tough guy is jealous of smart kid graduating early. Or maybe I'm giving myself too much credit. Either way, I turn around, walking towards the main entrance. "You're boring. Your brother would agree with me." Chad's words roll over me like a warm wind across a valley. In my mind's eyes, I see Ron walking out of our bedroom many years ago. His broad smile, glowing red cheeks, dark hair, and chubby face send my heart into overdrive. I snap. "Don't talk about my brother like that." My eyes burn, but no tears will come. I pivot. Spittle flies free from my mouth with the vehemence of my retort. "Have some decency." Chad goes chest to chest with me. "Get over it, Finn. Ron disappeared 5 years ago." Chad chuckles. "Besides, I bet you get all the attention from your parents now that your big brother ain't coming back. Why the fuss, dude?" He shoves me square in the shoulders. I catch myself with my back heels, but the weight of my backpack betrays me and I stumble onto the tiled floor. Students around us begin to stare. Some pull out their phones, snapping pictures and video. My face is burning, lips trembling, both hands clenched together, fisting. My bag slides from my back, landing with a heavy thwack on the floor. Chad has already begun his attack. He grabs me by the collar of my sweater, swinging me through the air. My labored breath is knocked out of my lungs as I make contact with the solid metal of my locker. "What's the matter? Can't fight back? 4 eyes?" Adrenaline is coursing through my veins, heavy and thick, lubricating my joints, powering my leg muscles. I kick the inside of Chad's knee hard. He stumbles back, giving me room for leverage. I propel myself off the lockers. He hits the floor on his back with me on top. Payback time. Raising my fist, the image of landing a hit right between Chad's eyes makes my arm shake. My nails dig into the palm of my hand as I clench my fist, angling my shot. My hesitation costs me. Bam! Chad's fist impacts the curve of my chin. I stand up, shocked. He starts to follow, but a female teacher, Miss Scarlet, makes her way towards us. Her eyes narrow, and she approaches us with short, powerful strides, forced by her pencil dress. "What is going on?" she demands. So, I do what I always do. Grab my backpack, turn tail, and run. Miss Scarlet yells my name as I barrel out the front doors towards the bus loop that serves the city center. "Finn Bates, you get back here right now!" she shouts, but her voice is receding as I hurtle onwards. I don't look back. Right now, all I'm thinking about is the night I lost my brother. Why does Chad have to be so fat-headed, making me feel like this? With 4 blocks between myself and Bayside Senior High, my legs are tiring, and I need a pause. My bag drops from my shoulders into a heap on the sidewalk. A little dot of red draws my gaze to my hand. Gingerly, I examine it. The wounds from my nails digging in are minor at best. No way I'm going home now. Mom and Dad will kill me. The thought depresses me. Not like they won't anyway. Recognizing the inevitable confrontation facing me, I hoist up my bag and start walking home again. The morning cold still lies thick in the air. I readjust my baggy hood, putting in my earpieces and opting to listen to some old-time blues to calm my nerves. Look on the bright side. At least this is your last day of high school. Sure, but now you're going to have a bunch of college kids hating you because you're some young, prodigal genius. Just shut up, brain. Focus on the music. Let the artist's deep, raspy voice accompanied by a string guitar distract me from my anxieties. Home is not where I want to be right now. Maybe Lolly Lake would be a better place to spend the afternoon. I head into the city center, which is the fastest way to get to the eastern road that leads to the outskirts of town. My town, Bayside Heights, is well populated, yet still considered country living. We have a dense core filled with large malls and shops, while picket fence neighborhoods, surrounded by acres of land, are scattered atop the rolling hills. Home is on one of these hills, where I live with my mother and father, who, amongst other things, are absent in my day-to-day life. That's what happens when aliens abduct their eldest son. I come to a halt at a red pedestrian light until the familiar walk signal beckons me. How many times do I have to tell myself this? Aliens didn't abduct Ron. It was just how the car's headlights shone in the night. Yet, in my memory, I can see the whitish-blue beam, clear as day. It shone down from the clouds like an unearthly beacon, lifting my 15-year-old brother in the air. It left me crying and alone on that cold winter's night. Yeah, poor kid. That's so sad. Moving on. Last month, I turned 17, so I still hold many of my baby face features from when I was younger. My short, curly black hair weaves curlicues around my ears with thicker strands on my forehead. Behind my wide-rimmed glasses, perched delicately on my nose, are two dark green eyes. Not a face to excite the opposite sex, which is why Chad's taunt still stings a little. Reaching the Jade Forest perimeter, I look around. Behind me, at the bottom of the hill, the cars and people create hypnotic lines, blurring the road like worker ants. The distance from my problems comforts me, settling me back into a calm state of mind. My eyes wander up into the vast canopy to soak up the atmosphere. I get off the main road onto a dirt path, stomped flat by the feet of many hikers. Slowly, I remove my earpieces. Birds chirp a simple chorus. A white butterfly brushes past the tip of my nose, probably on a late migration. The tree branches reach out to hug me, brushing against my arms and feet. A bug on a nearby branch flashes across my vision. I let my eyes wander into a bush that it jumped into. A pair of large, white eyes stare at me from between the branches. Goosebumps race up both arms. Those eyes are animalistic. I blink several times. When my vision clears, the mysterious creature is gone. My heart trips in my chest, playing a drumbeat in my ears. The pounding makes it hard to hear. I strain to catch any possible sound. Yet there's nothing. The shock slowly wears off. I straighten my back, still tense. I have to wonder, did I really see anything? Is my mind playing tricks on me? Maybe I'm insane, or Chad is still getting to me. Dismissing myself as mildly delusional takes the edge off. Reaching Lolly Lake, I smile down at the small ripples of clear blue water oozing up through the dark gray sand. To my left, the main beach stretches out, abandoned during the cold months. The landscape reminds me of an oil painting. Thick leaves intermix with pine needles, blending in shadows of green, brown, and yellowish-orange earthy tones. Forest smells tickle my nose along with the refreshing breath of the lake. Beyond the beach, a mountain tries to hide behind the clouds. The range pierces the sky as the sun sends rays of warmth towards me. Living on the west coast, we don't get snow during the winter. Perhaps, on rare occasions, a storm will hit, but it's nothing that won't be cleared in a day or two. Instead, we get rain. Lots and lots of rain. Gazing at the lake, I see a clear reflection of my face, and Chad's comments return to haunt me. I stare in disdain at the sight of my flushed pale skin of my cheeks. But at that very moment, the clouds part, and it begins to rain. In the lake water, the droplets ripple as they race across the surface, skewing my reflection and washing it away. I take shelter under the canopy of a large cedar, settling down on the sand, staring up at the sky, and letting my mind clear. Blinking twice while adjusting my glasses, I stand up and nervously scan the forest. The foliage no longer feels safe. With the rain coming down harder, the shadows dance, deepening to hide who knows what. Okay, so I'm not crazy. There is something in the woods. The ground bruises my knee as I drop to rip open my backpack. The bear spray I want will have ended up under all of my books. Finally! It's in my hand, and my arm comes free. The noise is coming from behind me. A shiver runs through me. It can't be more than a few feet away. I peek over my shoulder. My heart jams into my throat. A large canine head pushes through the low branches and undergrowth. It is 3 times the size of any wolf I have ever seen. The upper branches crack. The leaves brush off its fur coat. My God, it's the size of a car! For all of its size, the monster's paws make no sound as it steps onto the beach. Razor-sharp teeth gleam from its maw. 2 white holes stare at me from where its eyes would be, spiraling up to the top of its flat head, turning into points next to tiny ears. From its furry haunches, 2 thin tails split apart, rotating clockwise while it continues to eye me up as a meal. What What the heck is this monster? It dawns on me quickly. Right, I have no flippin' clue. I cautiously get up, holding the bear mace in my trembling hand. The raindrops sink into its short fur as if it's an absorbent sponge. Meanwhile, I need a set of windshield wipers for my glasses. I attempt to rub away the water with the back of my hand. Those white eyes follow my movement. The giant beast takes a step towards me, growling as it comes. With my finger trembling on the trigger of the mace, every part of me shakes uncontrollably. My heart right now would outpace a jackhammer, and I know I'm pale as a ghost. Its power shifts to its hind legs, and it leaps. My heart beats so hard it might explode, and instinctively, I duck. The monster sails over my crouched body, smoke mixed with burnt fur, fouling the air. The beast lands poorly, air rushing from its lungs while kicking sand back into my face. I spit out the grit, staring at the beast's wounds. Is that a burn? On its hind leg, the size of a football. Well, Ugly, you want another piece of me? A low voice says from the woods. A tall, rangy figure emerges from the forest. Medium wavy black hair is slicked behind his ears. A grin plays on his square face. On the left side of his chin, traveling down the base of his neck, are faded burns that mar and twist his clear skin. His brown eyes glimmer. In his hands is some sort of gun. The tip of his weapon fizzles, crackling with electricity. It looks like a blaster from some kind of sci-fi movie. The monster growls again, rising to its paws. Its twin tails whip-snap, lightning fast as it leaps towards the stranger. He steps onto the beach, salsa dancing around the creature. The monster's head slams into a tree. The stranger fires again. A sickening, burning smell of singed fur and seared flesh waft over us from the monster's hide. It's the finishing blow. The creature howls, falling over, bursting into a cloud of gray ash that is quickly washed away by the heavy rainfall. I stand, staring at the stranger. My eyes have to be wide as saucers. I raise the bear mace towards him. Who are you? I hiss. His eyebrows furrow, lips clamping together. He's wearing a long-sleeved wool sweater that's tight against his strong arms, and a dark green down vest that falls past his hips, partially hiding a black leather belt. His blue jeans are tucked into a pair of boots. Just calm down. His voice is deep and has a calming tone. He presses a button on the hilt of his gun. The snap crackle of electricity winks out as the muzzle folds towards the trigger, creating a compact silver square, which he shoves into his back pocket. I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting to have this conversation here. He takes a step. My stomach churns. What can he want with me? I step back until the heel of my left foot digs into the mud at the lake's edge. My mind is reeling. What was that monster? I shout. It was a spawn. He looks at the bear mace still in my hands. Let's just put down the bear mace, okay? I shake my head. What's a spawn? He takes another step, then stops. Listen, Finn. We should talk about this over a cup of coffee. He gives a small smile, moving within 3 feet of me. How do you know who I am? Are you stalking me? He tries to reach for my bear mace. Bad move, weirdo. I aim below his chest, squeezing the trigger. He yelps, jumping away from me. Despite my fear-induced panic, I avoid nailing him in the face. I scoop my bag out of the sand, running into the forest, wanting nothing more than to go home, forgetting any of this happened. That monster was probably just in my imagination. Yeah, a nightmare! When my feet hit the road, I turn left. Parked several feet away is an old Honda Civic. As I'm about to run past it, an irresistible feeling of curiosity overcomes me. I peek through the dirty windows. Empty pizza boxes and fast food bags litter the passenger seat floorboards. A sanitized smell mixed with a scent that reminds me of Mom's cleaning polish intermixes with the trash. Glowing, shiny metal balls, the size of my fist, lay partially covered by a pizza box and a fast food wrapper. What appear to be brass knuckles with short, curved blades extended from each end lie in view beside it. All sorts of spy thriller plots race through my mind. Maybe he works for the Canadian Intelligence Services. What about the Americans? Could he be FBI? CIA? As crazy as it sounds, the glowing metal balls remind me of something I saw in Men in Black. I must be going crazy. No time to think. I need to get to the police and make a statement in case there are any more monsters around. Charging down the hill, I make a beeline into town. My hood flaps like a flag in a windstorm. The breeze pushes mounting sweat from my forehead. The police station's red roof and brown trim comes into view. I race up the front steps, whipping the door open. The sound of them slamming against the wall echoes in counterpoint to my panting in the previously quiet room. A friend of my father, Officer Charles, is sitting at the entry desk with a coffee cup. The disgruntled frown on his face makes the fat around his chin sag. "Finn Bates, what's the matter, kid?" he mumbles while swallowing his last gulp. I run to the desk, catching my breath. I huff and puff, "the woods." "You see a bear?" He raises his voice, putting down his empty paper cup. The bottom leaves an instant circular stain on his notes and papers. "Finn, I can't count how many times I've told you, stay out of the forest this time of year." Shaking my head, I'm finally able to catch my breath. "No, like a real monster. It looked like a wolf, with 2 tails, huge eyes, and sharp teeth." I spread my arms as wide as they will go. "Only bigger," I gasp. Charles's eyebrows raise. His skeptical look heats my blood. It's the same look Dad and Mom gave me when Ron disappeared. "Finn, there ain't no such thing as monsters." My adrenaline is still running high, and I prattle on, hoping he will understand. "I was attacked. Then this man showed up with a gun." Charles frowns as he grabs a piece of paper. I realize. He doesn't believe me. I slump against the counter. Why would he? I must sound like a maniac. I pinch the bridge of my nose, then step away from the desk. At 6 feet, Charles towers over me. His lips are set in a straight line. "I heard you got in a fight today, Finn. Maybe you're just having an episode." I glare up at him as he continues. "Why don't you—" No. I try to summon up the last of my patience. If he doesn't believe me, maybe my parents will. It's a slim chance, but it's what I have to work with. I'm feeling better now. In my haste, I stumble into the door. Charles offers to give me a ride home. "You don't look fit to be walking around, Finn." My falling against the door pushes the handle. There's a satisfying click. The door opens, and a cold breeze draws me onto the rainy sidewalk. "Sorry for bothering you." I twist, scurrying to the nearest crosswalk, still in panic mode. The rain soaks my hair and face. Before I get very far, someone shouts from behind me, "Finn, please stop." That wasn't Officer Charles. I peek over my shoulder. Oh no. There in the street is the stranger. He must have driven up when I left the police station. His window is down. He pulls up into the nearest parking spot and leans out the window. Before I can say anything, he shouts, "Please!" His hand grips the top of the door. It's trembling. The desperation in his voice freezes me. That shout. It's familiar. My heart gets yanked by an invisible string. This time, I don't run away. Slowly, I walk towards his car. Bystanders stare at us from across the street. The man hanging from the car window catches sight of the gawkers. "I'm supposed to be undercover," he says. He closes his eyes, running his free hand through his hair as though combing the frustration out. When he opens his eyes again, that broad smile, calm demeanor, and childish stare are now 5 years older than I remember. But I know this man. "Ron?"